Hey you, welcome to the I Feel You podcast presented by Project Feel. I am your host, Eddie Wise, and this is season 2. As most of you may know, we do 2 versions of this podcast. There's audio, so you find that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, everywhere podcasts are found. And we also have very special visual versions on our YouTube. If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to our Patreon. You get some pretty cool perks, such as getting these episodes 2 weeks early. So again, thank you so much for watching and enjoy the episode. Hi guys, welcome to the podcast. Welcome back. It is, I think, episode 11 of season 2, which is, it's a lot of episodes so far, so that's pretty great. And thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, of course.
For anybody who doesn't know, this is Traci Johnson. They are born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Johnson specializes in textile design, installation, and sculpture art. Johnson has shown at numerous galleries, including Art Port Kingston, Sweet Lorraine Gallery, Micheal David Co, Museum at FIT and F.I.T Art and Design Gallery. Is that correct? Okay, sweet. So a few places, just to name a few off the top of the list. But they are a very talented artist that we've been a fan of for a long time now. Funny story, we actually have because you do rugs.
Yeah, do you guys have I feel like you have my mirror.
We do, we have the mirror.
Pillow?
Yeah, the pillow. Do we have the pillow?
I think that was for the giveaway.
Oh, the giveaway. Yeah, we did the giveaway. But yeah, we had that mirror. We still have it. We just haven't put it up anywhere on the wall yet.
Yeah, you guys have so much art. It's so cool.
Yeah. This is like a combination of art paint nights that we do randomly, and then also professional artists. And I mean, we're professionals, but you know. But yeah, this is. Let me plug this in. But this is someone that we've known for a little while now. Outside of the personal, just more professionally, we admire your work immensely. Is there anything that you want them to know about you before we get started?
I guess I would just say I'm a textile artist. I make rugs, soft sculptures, paintings, do it all. I just graduated from FIT last year.
That's awesome.
Thank you. It was crazy going to school during a pandemic, but it was.
Oh yeah, you had
Yeah, it was insane.
Were you able to have a proper graduation, or was it a Zoom?
Yeah,
thing?
we actually had a proper graduation.
Oh, nice.
In Central Park, which is really cute.
What?
Yeah.
That's cool.
But everything else is online. But I don't know, the pandemic I feel was good because it just forced me to really take this art thing seriously.
Nice.
And it's I got a studio, and I had a studio in Micheal.
Nice.
Yeah. That's how I even she put me on to you guys. And people just really started gravitating toward my work, and I hadn't seen that before, I guess, being in school. So I'm okay, this seems like I could really do this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. That's how we know you, right? Through Nichelle and Jalissa. What was your first interaction with Project Feel specifically?
I think it was Nichelle hosted this paint sip, I don't know, heart to heart. Honestly, I smoke so much, I can't remember. But I think it was during 2020.
2020, okay.
Yeah, and she had a whole picnic and everything. Do you remember?
Yeah. It was was it Art in the Park, I think it was called?
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
No, it's good. No, yeah.
And you guys co-hosted it, right? Yeah.
I wasn't there for that one. But that was a beautiful. Too. Yeah. There is one. Oh yeah, there's a second one that was more recent. Yeah. I don't think I was. I don't know. I'm not sure if I was there for the first one. But that's really cool. And then did you present your work there, or you were just hanging out?
No, yeah, I was just hanging out.
Cool.
Just for the vibes, because people that I hadn't seen in a really long time even pulled up, and
nice.
It was just nice being outside and not being in the house.
That's great. It was one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, 2020.
Oh my God, 2020 is a blur at this point. I can't even I forget sometimes that we went through
a whole.
Jeez, that was
pandemic.
Nuts. Yeah, that was honestly nuts. It feels like normal now again for the most part, but
yeah, I just rode the train over here. It's packed like sardines.
It's
in the
insane. Your art is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
It's actually incredible. I specifically love your rug work. It just the galleries, the setup that you've had. We saw one recently that there was like I think it was a bed. Was it a bed or like some kind of seating in the middle? But it was like the part of the installation, and then you had things hanging on the left side.
Was that in my studio?
I think maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it was on Instagram.
Yeah.
And we were so impressed by your layout, and the attention to detail is really incredible. So
Thank you.
Just want to share that before we get started.
Yeah.
So you do multiple things. What would you say is like your thing? Like what do you feel like you're best at? It could be multiple things if you're confident.
I'm a Leo, so
okay.
I think I'm really good at everything that I try.
Nice.
And even like as a kid, I always like did like multiple things. Like I played soccer, I did dancing, I took art classes, took swimming classes. Like I was just doing so much. I played the trumpet when I was in middle school. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I just picked things up because they were just like interesting to me.
Yeah.
And for me, like I'll just like practice until I like get good. And you know, like now I do art, I model, I dye my hair, do my hair all the time.
Nice.
I don't know, like I just gravitate toward things, and if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I really do put it down.
Has it always been art? Has that always been the thing that you've...
Yeah, like I always loved to like draw, and like when I was a kid, I used to ask my best friend to teach me how to draw.
Nice.
Because I had no idea. Like when you're a kid, you don't realize like what's real art.
Yeah.
And so I went to high school at Fashion Industries for art too.
Oh, okay.
And just
sick.
Decided to go to college for that. So it's kind of like been in my ear, but more so like I've always been kind of like a craft kind of person. Like I crocheted when I was younger too. Like
that's sick.
The whole trend fad.
I don't know if I've ever met before it became like a thing. I don't know if I ever met a young person that would crochet.
No, like
I could ever see that ever.
I went to church and they had a crochet club, and
that's
I was the only
awesome.
kid there along with all these old ladies, and we just had a great time crocheting. Like so that's how I was introduced to it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and just even having something that's like therapeutic and gives you like patience is really good.
No, that's really cool. Because I know nothing about rugs. Absolutely nothing. I just know that you can cut them up and sometimes do designs. What is the process behind that? Because it looks so freaking cool. It's awesome. Yeah,
it's so cool. Like I saw it on Instagram like in 2020, so I'm not even like a rug connoisseur.
Well, no,
it was kind of just like me doing mistake after mistake and learning how to like put together a rug, and even like YouTubing stuff. So when I make the rugs, you kind of like you have a cloth that you like stretch on the frame and stuff, and use a tufting gun, and you cut it out, you glue it. You can glue it to any backing that you would like. I just seen people like use like rug padding, so I went to Home Depot. Home Depot's like my best friend. Like
Home Depot's lit. People don't know, but Home Depot's lit.
It really, and especially for artists, don't go to Blick, go to Home Depot.
So sick. Yeah.
And so I choose like rubber padding for the back, or I'll choose like faux fur. And it's kind of like easier said than done. Yeah. Like it's hard work. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you.
I can't imagine. I mean, even when I'm seeing it, because like I said, I don't know anything about the process. I just know that there's material there, and then that people do this. But like, I can already kind of tell, even without even seeing the process, that this is like, that's no joke. Like, there's a lot of work behind that.
Yeah. No, there is. Honestly, because you see people do these things in like a minute or like 30 seconds. Yeah. Like on Instagram or TikTok, and so you think it doesn't take as long as those people are recording for probably 8+ hours. Making those things, you know. So it's worth it though.
No, it's like, I mean, it seems like it. Seems like it's worth it. How many rugs do you think you've made?
Oh, I've made a lot. Yeah. Like I've been making them for 2 years now, and I even thought about that the other day. I'm like, damn, how many people have my rug in their house? Like,
what's the biggest you've made?
The biggest I've made is actually like 4 by 4 feet.
Okay.
I actually just brought this.
Size.
8-foot frame the other day because I want to like just go bigger.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like because I just did like a couple of fairs, but at the NADA fair I saw this artist do rugs, and it was like probably like I want to say 10 feet, and they sold that shit for like $10K. And so I was just like, I'm making rugs. That's sick. Like this.
That's crazy.
And the fact that they're getting like, you know, this much money, like I've raised my prices tremendously, just like just learning and the kind of spaces that I'm in now. But like when I started, like I wasn't charging people a lot either, and so when I saw that I was like, damn. You sell one, you're fucking set.
Yeah, you gotta see it. You just see it once, and you're like, okay, I know what I need to.
Like,
be
what's
doing.
your value? Like
exactly.
your worth.
Which I mean, that's something that I have I have that problem with a lot of my friends. They just undersell everything, and I'm like, you can't do that to yourself.
It's the audience.
Yeah.
Like,
it's also
I'm not even
it's also that for
like, when I started, a lot of people are like I'm 23, so like are around that age that are like buying my work. We're not rich.
That's the thing.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's like, I'll let you pay like $300 whatever like for this, but it's like that's not really gonna sustain me, especially living in New York in the long run, you know. But it's like you want people, your community at least, to be able to like have your work before, you know.
For sure.
Nobody can get your work.
That's that's the important part too. And then ideally, you know, with when you start to, you know, come up and you have those big sales and your art people start to see more value in it, you know, ideally the people around you also come up in a certain way, and like I think we're all growing together. I think I'm seeing more of the community being able to like sustain itself through gigs and work, and like the people that I know specifically, we're able to kind of like fund each other a little bit more now. So like if I do a project, like that gives me a little bit more money to do something on my own where I'm having people come in and paying them as well, you know. Nice. So I think I'm seeing that more often, which is nice. Yeah.
You know, to be able to like pay your peers like, for the work that they do.
And it's all community based. Like that's the most important thing. So, so what you got into, or I don't know how long you've been doing it, but like you model as well. Yeah. You do a lot of modeling. It's like one of the things that you do pretty often that I love to see. And how did that, I mean, you picked it up one day, you're just like, I'm gonna just do this, or what's up?
Yeah, so I went to FIT, right?
Yeah,
and like a lot of my friends from high school also went there. Yeah. So my friend Sam, she is also like a fashion design major there, and she had a show, and she's like, so do you want to like model for me? And I've never walked or done any modeling, but I wanted to get into it. And so I was like, and that was like really kind of the start. It was just like so fun to do. Yeah. And I love taking photos in general. Yeah. So I don't know, like I'll pick something up and then things just kind of keep going. But a lot of people like see me on Instagram and things like that. And they'll be like, let's shoot. Or I'll be like, I have these concepts, like let's make something happen. But that's honestly how it started. And then I went to this casting like for an agency, and they literally, this was like 2 years ago, but 3 years now, 2019, and they like signed me, and I was like, oh shit, like that's sick. I can do this. Yeah. So that's really. Are you still with them? No. Okay, they're it's so crazy. They were like a street casting like agency. Oh, interesting. Yeah, okay, so like the people who owned it didn't even live in New York. They lived in like London. Like I feel like this was kind of back when everyone was like starting like their own agency. Yeah. And they're kind of just like, but you don't get people gigs. And the gigs that I would get, they would like, the industry is so funny because everyone knows everyone. So like the gigs that I would get, they would like try to take credit for it. It's like, no girl, I showed up here myself, you know. But it's like, it's just funny. Like New York is a very small place. I will say that. For sure. I've realized that now that I've lived here for a bit. Yeah. A lot of people know each other, and it's super important to understand that. People think it's much bigger than it is, but if you're doing art and you're doing it for long enough, like you know everybody. Like social media has made New York so much smaller. Like I've grown up here, like in Brooklyn. Like actually, I grew up like on St. John's, like by the
really?
Brooklyn Museum. Yeah.
Oh, sick. Okay.
And so like just meeting people, friends of friends of friends, you know, they go to different schools. I'll meet them now, like years later, like I don't know, at an event, or like they'll come to a show and they're like, oh yeah, I like went to school with your best friend. I'm like, LOL, girl, this is insane. Like it's small.
It's a very small world. That's really cool. You did recently something with I think it was called Weedy TV.
Yeah.
Is that what is how you pronounce Weedy?
Do you know Edie Parker?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was them.
It's really sick.
So they started like a cannabis line.
Oh, so that's okay. Sick.
Which, you know, it's I love that weed is like legal now, but I think, you know, it just took them so long for it to happen, and then people just capitalize on it, but then, you know, Black people and people of color in jail for these things. So it's like, love that, you know, you're enjoying this, and you know, all the white people can fucking smoke whenever they want. But it was cute though. It was cute to like do something like that. But I'm just like,
it's tough. It's a tough like it's because it's good that it's that way now. But and we were talking about this like I remember when we when I first started working with Project Feel, I forgot this even happened. This is actually wild. But when we first started, it was already kind of projected that it was going to be legal recreationally in New York, because, you know, the trends were kind of like on. So we were like, okay, how can we figure out a way to partner with a lot of sponsors, get a lot of people that are willing to support a venture, and kind of just start a dispensary, the art collective dispensary slash thing, because of like a venue space with like, you know, where Project Feel's headquarters will be, but also a dispensary. And we were in the midst of the conversation and plan. We had a really good plan, you know, we were going to present it, but it's like the fee just to get an application.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Was insane. And then if you get it to pay for like the licenses and stuff, it was like, I think it was $250,000, something like that. And like to place such a high ceiling on something. I mean, it's a massive industry, and
no, it is like people.
It was before
money.
It was before it was recreational in most places. Like it was a massive industry, but it was, you know, crime. Yeah. And then like, you know, when they started to, the people in power, I guess, realized that it was such a lucrative industry that was actually not as damaging as they might have made it seem at first.
Yeah, it's because they couldn't find a way to tax it.
Yeah, that's exactly. And that's why that's the biggest reason, because being able to tax a drug like that would bring in billions of dollars in the long haul for the government and for, you know, the people. So it's tough. It's nice to see that it's now more kind of like it's a little more normalized, and you know, people in the future, or people that are in it now that, you know, we're lucky enough to not get caught up in the legal system, can now like capitalize and like build something more. But I want to see more dispensaries make it a point to, this is something we were going to do, was make it a point to hire people who were had charges, weed charges, for drug charges.
Yeah, I really think it's, you know, listen, we live in a country where like things like that can kind of seem like a little far away, because people really like fuck with capitalism. Yeah. You know, and you know, people even have preconceived notions already just about like people who've been incarcerated or whatever. But no, like they should, like that's a really like strong point.
It's I think it's super vital, and I think they made some progress on like forgiving some people for those charges, but you know, it's most times it's not enough. And
it's not.
It's a, you know, and to be, it's a life that a lot of people chose. In some ways. Yeah. But also like with the way, we don't have to get too bogged down in this, because it's a lot of politics. But you know, it's, you know, the communities they hurt from the inside, and
they do.
There's not a lot of help from the inside. You know, it's all, you try to like band-aid everything, and
legit. Yeah, you don't want to like have any real solution to things.
Yeah, for sure. But that was a cool
Thank you.
Shoot, that was a really dope shoot. Honestly, the
Not
photos
to
were great.
spiral into that,
No,
but
the photos are great, but and that's important conversations. We gotta. I'm happy that you did say something like that because that means a lot. But yeah, no, it's cool. I'm down with it. Honestly, hey,
No, same.
it's like if you want to do it, as long as you guys are doing it the right way and and you're giving back to the community that made this what it is. That's what's important for me. And yeah, so what are your plans for like modeling specifically? Like, do you want to take that to the long haul, or is it just something like, is it more like a hobby, or is it
honestly like, okay, so honestly I've even like applied to like agencies and stuff like that, but I just model because I love it, and I'll do gigs, and if I get it I get it, if I don't I don't. I've done this for like probably 2 years, and so and it's so many like first of all these industries are saturated. I'm not even gonna like hold you. Oh my
gosh. Insane. It's insane.
Like even when I was in high school, like being an Instagram model or being Tumblr famous, like a lot of these Tumblr people literally, or Vine people, are like Instagram famous influencers now, whatever. That was the thing, and I just have fun, and if I book, I book.
A good question that I'm curious about. Where do you look for your jobs? Because you don't have an agency right now, technically,
no,
right?
I don't. So I actually like find out. Well, okay. So like people will email me things, like agencies or casting people will email me about gigs, and they want me to submit. Or I'm actually in this casting call group on Instagram, and they send all these opportunities. So it's like really the community.
That's actually really cool.
Helping each other out. Actually like have this gig coming out. Supposed to be this month, Refinery 29, in OGX. So nice. And I just booked that because they reached out to me and was like, so it's a lot of that, like people will reach out. You do enough
jobs, you get word of mouth, the people see you.
Exactly. And that's like the key to like modeling, is that if you're on these places like billboards, whatever, a lot of people are seeing you, they're gonna want you. And
it's important.
Once you do that, you're set.
It's cool. It's cool to know that there, because I think the hardest part about getting into any kind of field of art, initially, especially without a degree or without any connections, is like finding. You don't even know where to go to find gigs, like or where the right places.
Secretive.
Yeah, and there's a lot of subscription models out there that kind of guide you into paying subscriptions to get information on those gigs.
You're not supposed to pay for anything.
Yeah, so it's tough getting into it at first, because
don't pay for anything.
Try not to, because especially if you're getting if an agency is reaching out, there's so many agencies out there that'll be like, all right, you gotta pay this much to get in, and this and
but you don't
never do that.
That's a misconception, I think. And that's just I don't know, born in Brooklyn, you realize who's a scammer, scamming 101. And for a lot of these like if you're an artist or a model or whatever you do, like people are gonna reach out to you, and if they reach out to you saying like pay this or send something that's like sketchy, like it's fake. Like it's okay, girl, like
that's true.
You are beautiful, but like
there's so many scams out there. I feel like people get scammed a lot out here.
Yeah, they do.
And it's like it's so bad, especially with agencies, man. I've seen so many, and even honestly, like people who are, it's not necessarily a scam, like technically, but even like venues, like people that do, because I do some music, and all of my friends do it, and then they all play venues and stuff. Yeah. And the amount of times, man, my least favorite show to go to is when somebody messages me, which I always do. I will always try to make an effort to pay for a ticket and go. Yeah. But it just feels bad when my friend is like, when I see an artist that's really talented, and they're like fighting to get 30 tickets sold, because to play at this venue they have to sell 30 tickets. And if they don't, they pay the difference, whatever they don't sell.
Oh really?
Yeah, most of the time it's like you have to sell 30, and if you sell like 20, you have to pay for those 10 extra tickets. It comes out of whatever you would have gotten paid initially. And that's so
I mean, that's capitalism.
Yeah, it's
we go back to that. I mean,
yeah.
how do you charge people who were just like emerging, who are trying to like practice their passion?
It's
you don't care.
Tough. And I understand for that. For some venues, there's like they have to sell a certain amount of tickets.
Yeah.
But it's just rough when you're first starting out, because there's so many places that do that.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, there are a lot of venues that do that. Now they're not as well. In my friend group specifically, what I'm seeing is that, they're getting more gigs and people want them
to play.
Yeah, so like that's not happening too frequently anymore. And sometimes there is like a ticket thing, but most of the time it's not. It's not like some venues are just like doing it just like their whole motive is just profit motive.
Oh yeah.
Which
Gotta
is like,
rent.
it is what it is. Yeah, it's fair. But just don't like have new artists if you're trying to pay. Don't have young kids with like 2 tracks coming out here to play a venue and
but that's who's like
expecting them to play.
Influenceable.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. I've gone to shows. I've gone to shows when there's like one headliner and it's my friend, and before them they're playing. They have like 15 artists going up, and I'm like,
wow,
it's brutal. They each play
crazy.
like 2 tracks, and they're like, it's no sound checking, no just going up there.
That's rough.
It's tough. It's really tough. And then like the whole night is just an influx of people going in and out.
Yeah.
Because the artist's done, and so they leave with their friends. Like,
yeah. What people have to realize is that you don't take every opportunity that is handed to you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And just telling that to creative people, like, it's very hard, and to know your worth.
Yeah.
And then I've even been through this too, and you live and you learn. But it's like, build your music up. Don't just go like make something real quick, and then someone's only wants you to sing 2 things. Like, the music industry is also like something too, but
arts in general is just really goofy with their industries.
Yeah, like it's crazy. But I mean,
especially in New York, I feel like you know this more than I would, but this is one of the art capitals. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where a lot of art comes from, and people know that. People come here just to take advantage of that. So speaking of that, you're a native New Yorker, right?
Yeah.
You're like Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I don't meet many people who are like born and raised in Brooklyn specifically.
No, they've probably all left.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Either left, and then the people who are from everywhere else are just here. So
yeah.
It's an honor to meet a native New Yorker.
I'm crying.
We'll say. How does it feel? How does it feel? Like, do you love this city? Like, are you still like?
Yeah, I love New York.
Yeah.
I was like raised in Brooklyn majority like of my life, and I only really went to the city when I went to high school and college.
Oh, okay.
So I love this city. Like, I love the people that are here. Like, you'll never have a dull day. Like, everything is always happening. You'll never have the same day. People are spontaneous. People know how to act.
Yeah.
It's like really hilarious now because so many people aren't from here, and so they're so scared how unhinged New York is. And it's like, people have always been like this. You were just in your house for 2 years.
True.
Like, New York has always been crazy. But I love it. Like, I couldn't do what I've done here probably like anywhere else.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I'm from Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, I love Disney World. And Universal.
Yeah, I'm proud Orlando person. Honestly, Disney and Universal are sick though. I'm obsessed with those parks. Even after living there like a whole life and going a lot, it's keeps its magic. So I love it. Have you been? When's the last time you went to Disney World?
Probably like 2019.
Okay, so pretty recent.
My
right?
brother's father lived in Florida.
Oh, nice.
And so we would go like every year to Florida.
Yeah. Would you go to Disney every year or just to Florida?
Yes, to Disney and Universal.
So cool.
Yes. If your parents don't take you to Disney, they don't love you.
Or they're working on it, and one day
they don't.
Tell them to save up. Yo, that it's expensive too to go, but honestly it is worth it.
It is.
It's like
it
is 1,000% worth it. Yeah, I just can't wait to have kids and take them because I want to see that first
They, like,
experience again, because
smile, yeah.
oh my god, it's so
I
different.
don't know if I even remember my first time going. Like, I was so young.
I don't think I do either. I was pretty young as well.
I kind of like hate that like parents kind of take you to places and they're like, oh yeah, you've been there, and I'm like, girl, I have
I'm like, no, I
recollection of
haven't.
this.
No
Like,
shot. Yeah, no shot. Like my parents say that with Niagara Falls,
yeah.
and they're always like, yeah, we've been there so many times, and I'm like, no, I have not. I don't remember a thing about that. I also don't remember much of my childhood, but I can't even, I don't even know what it was like to get there, seeing the fall, which is a pretty crazy thing because it's a massive waterfall.
Yeah, I've never been to Niagara Falls.
I mean, I basically haven't been there either, but my parents have gone apparently a few times. I'm like, it's
supposed to be really beautiful.
Yeah, it's probably pretty cool. Yeah, but apparently I wasn't impressed enough to remember it. I don't know what. So yeah, no, that's what is like the equivalent of Disney World in New York? Is it just New York? I feel like it's just New York.
People might say Times Square, like not people that were born and raised here. I think tourists might say Times Square. It's a hard thing.
It's a tough question.
Yeah.
I don't know why I asked that. I just said that because I was curious, but I feel like New York is like in general is kind of like a theme park if you think about it.
I guess I would
everybody's
say
walking
now,
around.
like maybe fashion shows, like open bars, party.
True. Yeah. I mean,
or like the museums.
The scene out here is so. Oh, the museums are incredible.
They're beautiful.
I talk about this all the time, but I'm so jealous that I wasn't raised here as a kid, because going to a field trip to a museum, I would have gotten into art, and I would have gotten into, history and the things that they show. I would have gotten into all that stuff so much earlier, just seeing that, just experiencing that. Because, I mean, here in New York, they supplement that a lot. They support the youth in pursuing art more adamantly than they do in other places. Yeah. Specifically with like the specific schooling. Yeah.
They do, like, for high school, like, I think maybe New York might be the only place where they have like majors. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You take tests and stuff like that to get into the specialized high school, like LaGuardia, things like that. But I mean, really cool. Even as a kid, I barely went to museums, so don't even like feel bad.
Just to have the option too, yeah. And also, like, I wouldn't even know if I would appreciate it, honestly. Like, I don't know if I as a kid, I'd be like, oh, we're going to a museum. Like, oh my God.
That was me as a kid. Like, I took my little cousin to the MoMA, like, maybe last month, and she was very bored. She actually touched a bunch of things. She, like, turned off a projector. She was, like, standing behind the black lines. It was crazy. Like,
that's so bad.
But she's, you're a kid. You're not going to understand that unless you can physically, like, touch it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. That sounds really fun, though. Yeah, it does. Soraya, right? Yeah. Did you do a photo shoot with Soraya?
We went to college together.
Did you go to college together? Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. We did a photo shoot with her, or is it her or they them? What's the do you know the pronouns?
I'm really not quite too sure.
Okay, we could say they them for now. I guess.
I met Soraya as Jess.
As Jess.
Yeah. Oh. But I think I would say they go by Sarai now, but yeah. Well,
so we did a shoot with Sarai. It was called Love Thyself, and it was a beautiful photo shoot. And Sarai is really, really talented photographer.
Literally the best.
Really good. I love their work.
Yes. Yeah. So talented.
What did you guys do together specifically? Because I couldn't find the collaboration, but I don't know if it's on your page or not.
You probably have to like scroll down all the way. I mean, it was when we were like in school. We were like heavily shooting, and I think maybe haven't shot with them in a really long time, but the first shoot we did, it was a nude shoot, and it was literally at school, and I was like, if I'm gonna do a nude shoot for anybody, it's gonna be for you. Like, why not? That's cool. And I've met so many people even through like Jess, and we just shot, but like they got a studio and they started like really like working. Like the thing is, like I feel like over the pandemic everyone just started like going into work mode. So started specializing. That was the thing. Like but shout out to my girl.
Yeah, that's so cool. I only mentioned that because we talked about how it's like a pretty small world,
Yeah.
and that was a really dope collaboration, and Sarai was so cool about that shoot, and I was just really impressed by the professionalism and the talent behind that, because it's really hard to be a photographer.
You know, I give my props to people who go to school for, you know, these things, because, you know, yes, you can have the talent, but you definitely have to nurture it and practice. And a lot of these photographers will just pick up a camera and just like take pictures, and it's like you don't maybe have any clue of like
it's hard,
what goes into this.
Dude. I remember trying at one point, because I was doing more videography gigs.
Yeah.
But then people would naturally ask, like, do you do photography or whatever? So I would take photos here and there, but man,
no, it's work.
Taking photos is like not easy. Like, to get a good photo. Yeah. I think having the eye for it.
You have to have the eye for different. Sure. Composition, like scale.
But then also
principles.
When you're talking about the industries, like that's also a heavily saturated industry as well.
Yes.
And people have nearly done everything that you can with photos in a lot of ways.
I think so too. And I see even people with a lot of maybe the same kind of style, you know, photography, and it's Instagram, you know, everyone thinks that they're a photographer.
They're also watching the same tutorials, the big tutorials, and like most people go to school on YouTube, so which is valid. Oh, it's so great. I learned almost everything that I know artistically from like YouTube videos or people that I know personally, so YouTube is great for that. And that's why I also appreciate Saraya's style, because I think it's pretty unique. When I saw it for the first time, I was like, oh yeah, this is dope. This is hell yeah. This is like
the way they like even set design, they build like their own sets. They basically honestly do everything. And just things like even simple things, like we did a shoot and like she cut out like something from cardboard and put it in the light, and so then you could see the shadow. Like, yeah. I was just like, damn, how'd you even think of that? You know, so you definitely have to give like credit where it's due.
And the technical experience is impressive as well. You recently did I don't know if it was recent actually, but we saw that on your because we did deep diving. We've also been following you for a while. You did a collab with, or it was like, I guess they approached you about this though, with I think it was Woodstack and Nike. Yeah. It was pretty cool.
So Woodstack, honestly, shout out to them too, because they're I don't know. Do you know Woodstack?
No, not really. Okay. I'm not too familiar.
So honestly, like I wasn't either, but they're sneaker like an apparel store.
Oh, sick.
They have like stores like all over Brooklyn, and they're known like. Really? So they threw this, I think it was like their anniversary party, and they invited me to actually come and like sell my rugs. And in some like environments, it's kind of like nerve-wracking to sell my rugs because people maybe aren't expecting like what I do. And it was a sneaker store, so I was there. There were people selling t-shirts and stuff, and someone selling hot sauce to the left of me.
Hot sauce.
Yeah.
That's sick. I love that.
And I think someone selling cupcakes. So it was a very like wide, crazy variety. Yeah. But the thing about them is they gave people these tokens, which were like $10 tokens. Probably gave them like 10 of them, and you could give the tokens to the artists, the people who were selling, and buy something. So you didn't have to spend any money. So people left with your work, and so you would collect the tokens, and then they would pay you.
That's actually really cool.
Right?
And that's a really dope idea too. Was it anybody that walked in, or was it a specific invite only kind of thing?
It was definitely like invite only. I think like there were people there from like who worked at Nike, who worked at all of these different like sneaker headquarters that were like, yo, you ever try to do this on a sneaker? Like, I'm like, y'all trying to give me a job? Like,
what the heck?
But no, really shout out to them, because it's like that's how you get people in your community up. You have the audience. You have people that say like, oh, hey, maybe I don't have this much to pay for, but I have these tokens and I'll pay the rest in cash or whatever. Yeah. And I've just never really seen like anyone do anything like that.
Neither have I.
And it's like, it's just good to like get your name out there, and there's no pressure for like the people coming in.
And everybody walks out with something.
Yeah.
You know, supplied. That's really cool because it's like it's all supplied, but it's not necessarily free because you still have to have a transaction. Like there's still a moment for you to connect with the person you're getting this thing from, and you still have some kind of like, it's like a different kind of currency that is just like you can still have that connection instead of it just being free. Like, oh, let me just grab that one. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, I'm gonna give you something to get. Yeah, that's really dope.
They were so dope. So they hit me up again to do like the Woodstack like Nike collab, just for Black History Month. And nice. That was like so fire too. They did the video in my studio.
Yeah, it looks great. Like, it looks really cool.
I was like, that month I've been busy like crazy, but like that month I think I did like 3 studio shoots, just like of me being in my studio with my rug. So yeah.
That's really cool. I feel like it's been a busy season for me as well. Yeah. And I felt that from a lot of friends, which is cool to see. Yeah, it's like the industry's picking up, and also everything's coming back too, which is also, you know, everybody's coming back with fire. So it's really cool. I guess a bit of a tangent. I hope this doesn't come too far out of left field, but how are you feeling?
Honestly, like I have my days where I'm like tired, and
for sure.
I don't want to say it's impossible to have a social life, but it's like to have a social life, to go to work and to have your passion, you know, it's a lot. Like I've been running like really crazy, but I try to like really be positive and try to like put positive energy out there and just be grateful for what's happening and what I'm doing, because I really could not be, you know, people could not perceive my work well, or, you know, like, so I'm just trying to be grateful.
Not true.
You know, I started taking these CBD like drops like every morning and just like chill myself out.
How does that feel?
It's good. Like I'm super like anxious like sometimes, and so I just started taking CBD, and I feel like so calm, and like maybe things don't stress me out as much anymore. That's good. Even people too.
That's good.
That's good too.
Yeah. Have you always been like, do you feel like you've always been an anxious person, or?
Maybe like, I guess when I turned like maybe 13 or 14, like going through puberty, I began like biting my lip all the time, or just like biting my nails and stuff. And I don't know, like it's something about turning like into a teenager.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like anxious.
It does make you feel that way. Yeah.
But no, there's so many like things that are out of your control that you can't control, and I feel like you always want to be in control, because like for me, I try to like have a plan sometimes, but you know, never anything goes according to plan. But
how, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 23.
23. You're so young. I'm only 26, but
are you 26? Really?
Yeah, I'm 26.
You don't look 26 at all.
And I get that a lot. Yeah, I guess it's a good thing.
That's what's up.
No, it's cool. Yeah. I mean, hey. I mean, you know, you do. I love a young energy. I feel like it's really nice in the art scene. It is. Just because it's so it's really tough to be young and fighting in the industry alongside people who have been doing it for a while. Like I met a lot of people who've been doing this for a minute.
Yes, same.
And even young, and it feels the same even with young people. Like when I meet younger people who have been doing it longer than I have. Yeah. And I'm like, you feel older to me. Like it feels like you've been working hard for a long time. Like since middle school, high school type thing. And I'm like, damn, that's because I started a little late, but no, I appreciate that immensely. So towards the end of the episode, typically we kind of leave it off with one, things you got going on, which I have saw that you have some shows, solo show and a group show in your Instagram bio. So if you just want to announce that those are going to happen. When let's just talk about that. When are specifically those dates? Because I know this episode's going to come out at a specific time, but I want to make sure.
Okay, so I have my solo show at Established Gallery. It's in Brooklyn. Definitely will put everything on my page, but it's from July 3rd to, I'm guessing, August 1st. Nice. Like, it's for the whole month.
Oh, that's great. So this will definitely be in time to get people out there for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. For sure. Definitely come pop out.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely be there. We'll show up with the crew and everything, so it'll be fun. So when you do a solo show like that, is it just the gallery's open like just all the time with your work in it?
Yeah, I would say.
How often do you have to be there?
I don't have to be there at all.
You don't have to be there at all. You just can just show up whenever you want to.
Working toward not having to be anywhere, and my shit just sells. You know,
that's true. That's fair.
Been doing too much of meeting, new people and talking to people. Like,
it gets exhausting.
It does. Like, it was just fair season, so I did 3 fairs. Like, it was really crazy, but it makes me appreciate though. Like, I'm like telling people, I'm like, you should appreciate that I'm here talking to you, because there are a lot of artists that you may love and you've never will get a chance to speak to them, just because they're not on, they're on a whole different level, But
nice. So you have that solo show, and you have a group show, I think, as well.
Yeah, I have.
Is that one?
I have like a couple of group shows like coming up in the fall. I am like designing a window for Bergdorf Goodman in August, so that'll be up for the whole. From July 27th to August up. Yeah. And a couple of group shows coming up. I definitely will post like all these like on
I can tell
Instagram.
everything's in your bio.
Yeah, I'll put things on in my bio too. It's so much.
No, there's a lot. Any chance we get to support you, we will. So let us know at any point whenever you have a show going on.
Yeah.
And we pay attention to your work, so we watch your Instagram.
So much appreciated. Like even you saying incredible. You checked my bio and saw that, I was like, I mean, really appreciate that. Like.
Yeah, no, of course. I think it's super important, especially because we were gonna have this conversation today. I thought it to be vital. And like I said, we genuinely have been following your work for a while, so. It's an honor to speak to you. I appreciate you being here. Another thing that we do before we end off the episode, this would be kind of the last thing.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable just giving us maybe some words of wisdom at your young age, but you've done so much, and it seems like you're working so hard and it's incredible, but any kind of words of wisdom, it doesn't have to be about work, it could be personal, it could be just whatever you want to tell people, like if they want to,
I definitely will say, do what makes you happy. Try and really be yourself and really just enjoy every moment. Maybe try not to be on the phone as much. I'm a hypocrite for saying that, but really do try to enjoy this life, that we have. Yeah.
And we got to get more we got to get those super young people on that kind of vibe, because they're going through so much more than we went through, and we are people that came out of that age, and we're kind of feeling the repercussions of a lot of the newness of the internet, so we got to teach them.
Go outside.
But I feel you. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
Thank you for being part of the show. Hopefully in the future we'll have you back on in a different capacity, and I really do appreciate you making your way out here and talking to this beautiful audience of people, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
For sure.